There are serious issues potentially being leaked about our previous election. Could this become a non-competence issue for you if the government doesn't call an inquiry?
With the political interference, that is something that we take very seriously. And seeing what's going on in committee, that we've got Liberal and Conservative members playing a political game, trying to score points, who's worse or who's implicated, both have implications. For New Democrats, the goal isn't to score points on this and see who's worse and who's actually caught up in it. It's to find ways to protect our democracy. So that's what we're calling for, an independent inquiry. It's something we believe it's the right thing to do. A public inquiry would help us have confidence in our electoral process and identify the problems so that we can actually solve them. So we can actually ensure that our democracy is remaining strong and vibrant. So that's my position. We've not made a decision in terms of where the government stands on this. We're going to continue to apply pressure. We believe it's the right thing to do, and we hope that that's something that we can make happen.
What do you think a public inquiry could uncover that a parliamentary committee can't?
Well, the issue with the parliamentary committee, for anyone who's been following it, it's been caught up in partisanship, where it's really about the Conservatives trying to score points on the Liberal government, the Liberal government trying to score points on the Conservatives. We don't want to get caught up in who it is, which nomination meeting, which party. We actually want to get focused on the solutions. We want someone independent to take this out of the partisanship of the committee. The committee work can continue, and we support that. But it's become clear that it's more interested in scoring points rather than finding solutions. I actually want to protect our democracy. I want to protect the importance of our democratic processes. I want to make sure that they are strong and that they're free from a foreign government interfering. And to do that, a public inquiry has the independence, the autonomy to be lifted out of that partisanship that we're seeing in the committee to actually get the job done. And that's what I want to see happen. I want to protect our democracy. I want Canadians to have confidence in our electoral process. And I think that's something that can be done with a public independent inquiry.
How important or how concerned are you that this whole process will sow doubt in the competency of Canadian institutions? And what role do MPs have to play in creating that doubt?
Well, I think what we have to do is be very transparent and measured in our response. So one, so far, it should be very clear that none of the experts have said that this in any way has changed the outcome of the election. So I think that's something that we've got to be consistent on for transparency, and that's the facts. That's the truth. So we got to be truthful, but we have to take it seriously, even though it didn't impact the entire election. The fact that it impacted potentially candidates or elected officials is something very serious. And then that's something we have to take seriously. And so taking the concerns seriously, I think, is the responsibility of elected officials, not using hyperbole or exaggeration, but being very honest and straightforward. This is a serious concern. It is, so far, the allegations are that there was interference in nomination meetings. That is a problem. That shouldn't be happening. And the interference is very specific in nature. A foreign government, like a government, should not have influence over who is being nominated as candidates. So far, that's what we've heard. That is a problem that needs to be addressed. So we should take it seriously. I think we need to have public inquiry, and MPs have to be very measured and transparent in their commentary around this. I think that's very important as well.
I'd like to jump back to a question. I don't believe you answered it directly, just about the call for a public inquiry into election interference. Is this an issue that could put your supply and confidence deal with the Liberals at risk if they don't take steps to deal with the serious issue of foreign interference in our elections?
Well, that's not a decision we're making today in terms of if we're going to an election or not, but it is something that we take very seriously. I have made the call for a public inquiry. So far, the Prime Minister has said that's not something he's going to do. We disagree on that. I think it should be a public independent inquiry that investigates this, that assesses the real dangers and provides us with real transparency around what happened and ways that we can prevent it from having an influence in any way on our democratic system. I think that is important, to have that independence, assess that risk, and to provide us with recommendations. So I maintain my position, and I will continue to apply pressure on the government to move forward on an inquiry.